Go ahead, sir.
All right, good
Where's
evening,
Amar?
everyone.
Does anybody have Amar's phone number? Because he's supposed to say something tonight.
Okay, we're starting. All right, good evening, everyone, and I call this our meeting to order. And we do have a quorum. And the first thing we need to do is adoption of the agenda. Have you received the agenda and you're
Yes.
clear on it before I ask for a motion to approve? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
is there a motion to approve the agenda for today, please?
Yes, I move to approve the agenda.
Is that Laura?
Yes,
Thank you. Is there a second, please?
It's Aisha. I second the motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, is there a discussion needed about the agenda? No?
No.
Okay, now let us vote. Just raise your electronic hand, please.
I know somebody was driving, so somebody can say aye verbally, please.
Aye, and I raised my hand as well.
Okay,
I
thank
saw it.
you.
Me as
We
well.
need,
I raised my hand as well.
Okay, thank you. So-
Shabani?
Yes, I raised my hand as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have the majority?
All is in favor.
All in favor. Thank you. So we have adapted the agenda for today. Now we'll move to the approval of minutes. Have you received the minutes and reviewed them?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
This is Alyssa. I motion to approve.
This is Majid. I second.
Thank you.
Stefani, approve.
Okay, thank you. Are there any corrections to the minutes? No? If there are no corrections, the minutes stand approved. Do we need to vote after that?
No,
No.
No.
Okay,
no.
thank you. Yes.
Proclamation. Acclamation. You're okay.
All right.
What was that?
So-
Okay, I'm confused. I thought we would need to vote.
We'll talk about it in a second.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, Assalamu alaikum, ازيكم, peace be upon you. How are you? New directions, new opportunities. One night at sea, a ship's captain saw what he thought were the lights of another ship heading toward him. He had his signalman blink to the other ship, change your course 10 degrees west. The reply came back, change your course 10 degrees east. The ship's captain answered, I am a captain, change your course west. Another reply came back, well, I am a seaman first class, change your course east. The captain was mad now. I said, change your course west, I am on a battleship. To which reply came back, and I say, change your course east, I am in a lighthouse. We cannot control the uncontrollable. Our Middle Eastern American Commission is changing course because of facts we cannot change. A new executive order, new commission rules, new appointments. Our organization is changing, and who isn't in this age of uncertainty? I care about each of you and will remain part of Maryland's Middle Eastern American communities, as I hope you will. In life, we need to accept ambiguity and uncertainty and finds the positive opportunities which exist. You are fully committed as volunteers to your public service. I value your readiness to serve others in our Middle Eastern community and cascade governors more vision and programs to them while listening and sharing their concerns and needs. Over the past year, here are a few of our commission accomplishments from April 2024 to May 2025, or middle of May. MEAA united mixed Middle Eastern American commissioners successfully and became a cohesive force, you guys, during a time of unprecedented political turmoil in our homelands. Provided recommendations to delivering meeting minutes and other data collection, resulting in a commitment by GOSI's Executive Director Walker to implement. On December 11th, 2024, initiated a reset of commission standing committees per Reverend Walker directive. Successfully organized a public MEAA Commission culture event with overall high standards. I take great pride in the efforts of our committees and working group members who have achieved MEAA Commission's expectations, then have created new plans after the committee's restructuring in January of this year. I look forward to them sharing their accomplishments and plans during their updates later. Thank you. Now we'll move to Dr. Brown to give us his opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your comments. It's good to see everyone. It's been a couple weeks, but we've been very active on email. So I just have a few things to update you on. I'm waiting on Reverend Walker. Reverend Walker was supposed to be here tonight. So let's see if he chimes in. I've been texting him. He hasn't texted me back yet. So, Mr. Chair, we're going to change the agenda just a tad. I'm going to go first. If he shows up, we'll give him space to speak.
Certainly.
All right.
As you.
Commissioner, as you know, Larry's going to speak about the changes that we did with our commission, so I'll leave that to him, but I had it written down. So if he doesn't show, I'll give a brief update on that. But I did want to bring to our attention that we have a little over 150 days till our cultural event. So, Mr. Chair, I know you're leaving out of here and doing your thing, but
Yes.
at some point we have to do a working group for our committee for the October event, because we add 160 days, and I have to start requesting some of our top principals to attend
Agreed.
this year.
And it is in the agenda when we come to the working group. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem at all. That's easy enough. Also, Executive Director Walker wanted us to think about doing something for Maryland 250. I know we talked about it early in the year. I don't know what that looks like, so we also should have a working group, because that's about the January 1st is about 250 days. So what that looks like, I know we talked about the arts project with one of our earlier speakers, or what we wanted to do to kind of participate in Maryland 250 for the Middle Eastern American Commission. They're having events that's going to be scheduled around the regions. So it's about 6 or 7 regions that we kind of put together ourselves. But all next year, they're going to be doing something. And the commission wants us to participate by having something available for the state to participate in. So once we get that working group started, we can start thinking about what we're going to do to participate in Maryland 250. My annual report is due at the end of June. It's due in June. So it's end of June. So if we have any things that need to go in, I started something, and Thawad, we'll get together and go over what I have for our 2024 year and up to date,
Sure.
which when you see it, I think you'll be on paper. It was highly impressive about what we came up with and the things we got accomplished through our meetings and through our event. So most of the things that you just discussed it's on that report, and I'll send that out to you so you can look at it, so you can have some of it approved. And then once we continue, I'll add whatever we have from the commissioners.
Good.
Do, 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 do. One thing that I that's added to our commission is we have a budget that's due for every event that we done. So in order for our event to get approved in October, we need to present GOFA with a budget about what we want to spend throughout the year. So when we start looking into our next event, we just got to make sure the committee understands to put a budget together first. So once we do a submission, we can try to get some funding that we have a little bit. We have 1,500 for the year, so we can start there. We have 15, and we didn't use anything at this point. Mr. Chair, that is it for my report. And I am
Okay, that's wonderful. I just going to add a comment here, and maybe other people have comments or questions for you. Regarding Maryland 250, you're aware that I lucked out was soliciting 2 sponsors, and I assured them, you're aware of them, and I assured them with a couple of other people in 250. And one of the sponsors went in with the basic, and the money is in-house, because you needed to know that. The second one is still, it's a bigger organization, and they're going to go a higher level, so it's going to take some time.
Okay.
Good. Anyone has questions or comments for Dr. Brown before we move on with our agenda? Well, actually, yeah, we said we'll change the agenda for now. Okay, so let's go down to, let's go down to standing
Rabbi
committee.
Grossman has her hand up before you move on.
Oh, okay, all right, please.
I haven't been keeping count, but if we know 2 people have to leave around 7, if we're gonna lose our quorum, I just want to make sure we get a chance to vote. We need a quorum to vote, and we are having a vote on the statement for HB 899. So I just wanted to ask that someone keep an eye. Oh, 3 people have to leave. So I hope that we can keep an eye on the time and address that before we lose our quorum.
Got it. I mean, we now at 6:23, so we have time, and you coming up soon to give your update, and also we'll have chance to vote before people leave. So thank you. Anybody else raise their hand? No? Okay, so standing committees update. Here we go. So Education and Health Committee, and then we'll go to you, Rabbi Susan. Okay?
Aisha and Athara, the Education and Health Committees.
Yes.
And then you'll go to me. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
All right, guys. Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. Good evening to our chairman, Mr. Tharawath, and fellow commissioners. What Tharawath was saying initially is a little bit of a surprise, so I'm taken aback by what you're sharing, Tharawath, but I'm going to jump on to the committee update, and towards the end, hopefully we'll have some time to discuss the commission changes, I guess. So as you all know that Health and Education Committee, we have total 9 members, and our first meeting was held in February, where after discussions, our committee voted to build on cultural awareness in educational institutions as our initial task. We then, in March, were able to connect with Howard County Public School System. Me, our Vice Chair Athar, Rabbi Susan, and Laura had a really nice meeting with the leadership team in March, and we discussed the need for initiatives within the school system that promote civility and enhance cultural sensitivity among students and educators. That meeting was actually very well received by Howard County leadership, and we were actually most recently on May 9th, we're able to secure a second meeting Myself, Rabbi Susan, and Laura met with the DEI head again, Ms. Caroline Walker. We reaffirmed our commitment to offering support, resources, and guidance in developing these initiatives in schools that foster civility and cultural awareness. We also offered the idea of using a courageous conversation model and to have these dialogues, and they actually showed a lot of interest and actually want us to do a demo for them demonstrating how this dialogue works. We are planning to do that dialogue on June 18th with Howard County leadership team of around 14 administrative staff. These dialogue session will be done by previously trained Howard County Courageous Conversation facilitators. As you all know, I have also been a facilitator for these sessions in the past with Courageous Conversations, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to do that along with a few other facilitators. Again, the model of these dialogues are based on the work of the nationally recognized organization called Essential Partners. We're hoping that this unique model of facilitated dialogue, will help participants develop ability to navigate very sensitive conversations, and I guess teach them how to deal with things with respect and civility, thus promoting a culture of conversation across difference in our communities. Special thanks to my committee members for their efforts, especially our Vice Chair Athar, Laura Slagnick, as well as Rabbi Susan Grossman, who have really been paramount in helping us connect with Howard County school systems. So I'm really excited about this. Also plan to have our third meeting, the committee meeting. It's scheduled for May 28th. I also wanted to take a moment to commend our Chairman Thurwood for all his leadership in helping us, in guiding this commission, I think through a very challenging cultural and political landscape. Your integrity, Thurwood, and clarity has been very instrumental in keeping our work focused and effective. So a huge thank you to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, that's all for my report. Thank you, guys.
All right. Asar, do you have anything to share?
No, that's it. She said everything perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Commissioner Rabbi Susan.
Okay, so we're going a little bit out of order, and I hope we'll come back to the rest of the interfaith committee, our working group, because Dr. Amal has things to add, and we have some other things to add. So Cheryl's gonna share, screen share the document. A number of months ago, I think Allah had crafted with the committee, the whatever it's called now, the local inclusion committee. We had a statement of support that we passed, assuming that HB 899 was going to pass, and that was a bill sponsored, again, modeling interfaith cooperation between Delegate Sarah Wallach, who we know because she came to our interfaith musical programs, cultural program, and her colleague who's in Montgomery County, Delegate Jared Solomon, designating January as Muslim American Heritage Month and May as Jewish American Heritage Month. Mona and I were invited to be panel witnesses in favor of that in the House. It passed unanimously in the House and never got out of committee. Ferguson, the president of the Senate, didn't let it out of committee. And so I spoke to Sarah afterwards, and I said, what can we do to help? And she said, well, a statement encouraging it for next year would be helpful, and then we'll work together to, I don't know what we're allowed to say online here, but we'll work together to support the bill next season when it comes up again. So I'll just read it quickly. I'm a New Yorker, so I'll read it very quickly. do I need to read it out loud to enter it into the
I'm not
record, I
sure,
think, right?
Dr. Brown.
You don't, because you submitted to the commission earlier. So you
Okay,
don't have to read it.
so yeah, I'm hoping people can read it, and basically we're saying we thank the House for unanimously passing it. And we are deeply disappointed. We express our deep disappointment in the Senate where the bill did not move out of committee for a vote. And we talk about it fostering, it's important these 2 months because they foster understanding, inclusion, and celebration of our diverse communities. And we remain committed to uplifting the rich religious and ethnic diversity of our state. And we're encouraging its submission and passage for next year. That's the bottom line for this. And so I would move to, and we need a second, I'll move this to be considered for passage and needs a second, and then we vote.
You have to, you can't make the motion. You got somebody, chair has to ask for it, get the motion.
Oh,
You can
okay,
second it.
okay.
You can't make the motion.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Well, is there a motion to approve our statements proposed by Commissioner Susan?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, yes.
And Maj, I second.
Okay.
Thanks.
Is there any discussion needed here?
I have one thing on it because I need to say something before you
Sure.
approve it. Cheryl, could you take it down for a second? Could you thank you. Our initial conversation about this was we were leaning towards social media posts and having something on our website. This particular statement, Larry and I looked at it and it was like, we might have to take it one more step through comms because this seems more of a stance and a press release. So I need to figure out if we need to make it a press release or if it's a stance on that. So my question, I think, should be, or the question, should we use this statement to also create social media posts and put something on, or should we push it through as a press release and get approval from the second floor and Larry going forward? So that was my question for it. And I guess anybody can answer it, but I needed to know that before we approve this.
Can I respond to this?
Sure.
So I would have loved to have that conversation before this meeting. That's A. I don't know if you just found out about that. But
I did on Tuesday. So
well, Tuesday and today is the day is Thursday. So it would have been really helpful to be able to think strategically about that. But I think what I would suggest we do is we do need a formal statement. That's what the delegates have asked for. I would ask us to pass that, and then based on us setting a position, we can then think strategically, how do you want to communicate that? Is it a press release? Is it releasing the statement? Is it, and is this the time to do that? Alla might have some, it looks like she has some theories about that. And yeah, I'd suggest we be in communication with the sponsors to see what would most help them. I know they're looking forward to our help when we get around to this again.
absolutely.
We really, I'm sorry, we really need to get aligned with Gosi. We move with the direction and advice. So I hear you, Susan, and all commissioners who put a lot of time and help there, and it is in supporting a very proactive delegate. Yet I hesitate for us to approve. Well, let me ask you, Dr. Brown, is any concern about the language? Is that what it is? Because if it is, then we cannot really vote on it. But if it's not, it's a matter of process, then we could move with approval.
I think the language was it was the message in totality of how it might appear, because the governors was supported this bill. Gosi was in support of the bill. I think Executive Director Walker spoke on behalf of this bill. So all of us are in agreement that this needs to happen. So what was the concern on Tuesday? Just how it's supposed to happen outside of what we initially talked about was making it a social media and our type of thing now. But I think our position is let's approve it, and then let's talk about what we need to do to make it happen. It's not a.
Okay.
I'm not shooting it down. I just wanted to have the conversation because the conversation was had with
And
me Tuesday, and I wanted to bring it to this
so-
commission.
Thank you, and Commissioner Susan suggested that, which we'll go ahead with it. So, did you have a chance? Well, let me start here again. Is there a motion to approve the statement as suggested? And
Yes,
say again.
yes, yes. Yeah, please
Uh,
approve. A
I
motion to
second.
approve.
I
Is there-
second the
thank you.
motion.
Is there a second?
Yes, I second the motion.
And Laura is second. Okay, is there a discussion needed? We already discussed it, but if anybody else has any comment before we vote? No? So let's vote. Please raise your electronic hand, and or, as Dr. Brown said, if you're driving, just say aye and tell us your name.
Hi, Shivani.
Okay, thank you, Shivani.
Welcome.
Alyssa and Marge, I think Cheryl's waiting on you two, and then that's it, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So we have a majority of everybody? Okay. Well, then we have adapted the motion.
You know, one more, you gotta ask for the nays because two people didn't vote
Oh, okay.
And abstain.
and
Oh.
abstain. Yep. And
Okay.
or abstain.
So do we have nays? We do. We have one. Okay.
No,
But
no, wait.
Nope,
Okay.
nope, nope. All,
No,
those
no,
are
I
all for
agree.
the-
I
for the
approve. I'm
yes.
trying. Yeah, I'm trying to
I
close
think we need to
this or
lower
to
our
take my
hands.
hand
Yeah,
down.
everyone has to lower their hand first.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think we need to
trying,
lower
but I
our hands.
cannot do it. I don't know why.
All right, I got you.
I'm
Okay.
doing it as well.
Yeah,
Everybody's, okay, now we can ask, are there any nays?
are there any nays
Did I
out there?
take it down?
Amal, you're up as a nay. Is that what you wanted?
No, I'm trying to
No,
take
she-
it
no,
down.
She okay.
Yeah,
We
I
got it
approve
recorded again.
everything. Yeah,
So are we
No nays.
yeah,
No
I'm
nays.
good.
okay? So no no's, and all right. So the
Nays.
motion has been adapted.
Abstains?
Yes. Let's
We
let's
have one.
let's put the two as abstain. Sure.
Yeah, they didn't. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Motion has been approved. Thank you. Let's move to now to the next standing commission update. Commissioner Alat
Yes.
and Commissioner Amar.
So just to give you a quick update on our meeting, and then I know that Amar has some comments about his trip that he'd like to share. We had a meeting mid-March, our first formal local engagement and inclusion committee meeting, where we worked on identifying the scope of our work and brainstormed initial priorities, as well as identifying needs and asks of Dr. Brown and GOSI. And so we really rolled up our sleeves and deep dived into the governor's priorities and the executive order responsibilities to make sure that our work aligned with them, and identified 3 priority areas for this year. Number 5, 6, and 7 of it's not the duties. I'm trying to tie it back, but it's creating safer communities, desirable state for all residents, and connecting Marylanders to opportunities and each other. I think those are the governor's priorities. And so we identified some action items, and one of our, I think, big goals really is to have a focus group one per county before the end of the year. And just other certain action items that'll help us with that work, such as mapping the counties, understanding where the commissioners are, where the Middle Eastern populations are, seeing what resources GOSI may have to help us with some of that work. So just some examples of some things we discussed, and I shared with the team that I was unable to have the second meeting. We had planned a second meeting before this meeting and it didn't happen. So I will be setting that up in the coming weeks.
Right. Actually, I'm looking here at the agenda at this point. Thank you, Commissioner Alat. I see that Commissioner Amar Abdelhamid listed twice here to share his experience. And I think really it will be best if we move it to the open discussion. So this way we don't limit you, Commissioner Amar, to only a maximum 5 minutes. So if we move it down there, and also we do need to vote on working group for event planning because that's sort of urgency we need to decide, as Dr. Brown mentioned, and then we'll share only the interface programs. Then we'll go to open discussion, and unless somebody else from the working groups have anything else to say, but I see only two. Are you okay with that, Commissioner Amar?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So let's move to the event planning. And the agenda saying it here. We have Alyssa is on, and Athar is there, and who else in that committee? I mean, working group. I don't recall, but Alyssa, do you want to take a lead on that? We need to make a selection or lock-in date and the venue, of course. We're planning for September 2025 for our annual event. So, and I recall at one point, Dr. Brown generously offered that we could attempt to reserve, or I don't know the right word, to do it at the governor's mansion. So Dr. Brown, well, you know, is that still open, or do we need to find alternative? Dr. Brown? Okay. Maybe
He
he's
is
talking.
raising his hand.
One second, Tawad, I'll answer it in a second. Cap called me, so let me finish
Okay.
up and I'll get right back to you.
Okay. All right. Alyssa, you're on?
Yes, I am here. So I will admit right this second, I am a little bit behind the power curve, but for September, my big thing that we just want to look at, I would say for dates, I don't know if we have a specific one in mind. I just obviously so fall is a very heavy event season for what I work on my daytime job. So I just want to make sure I deconflict accordingly when we're looking to put it together. But I will be around this September, so that will be great, because I know I had to unfortunately miss the last event due to being out of country.
No, I understand. I appreciate what you said. And clearly, when we looked at calendars, I coordinated with Rabbi Susan and other also, about religion holidays. And we moved away from October because October is fully loaded with holidays. So September is the month to do it. We don't want to move it toward beyond that. In November, we get into Thanksgiving and holidays. So September is still it, and it should need to be on maybe ideally on a Sunday, but it's up to you. You are empowered, Alyssa, and your working group members. And Dr. Brown, are you ready?
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Larry said he got caught in the meeting, so I'll give his updates when we get towards the end of the meeting when we do open discussion.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, everything's open with. I know that you asked me about the invitations in Government House, so
Right.
Everything's open, but I don't know. I need to lock a date in, and I know we had two. It was one for September and one for October. Which one did we?
We had September 7th, 14th, and October 26th that we discussed.
I knew the 7th couldn't work because they were already done. And the other one was the 20, what was it? I
It
thought.
was September 14th and October 26th.
Right. And I think I was checking on the 14th. I haven't got anything about that. So I focused on the October event. Is that the October date? Would that one be okay?
For the governor's house?
Yes.
So Thorough and Rabbi, Susan, we went over these dates together, and that's the date I have. That would be okay with me. Would it be okay with everybody else?
What we're saying is
So
October 26th.
the Jewish
October
holidays
26th.
end on October 15th.
Yeah.
So so that's so October 26th is good, and it's actually better for us than the 14th, which is, you know, that's like the week running into our holidays begin the night of the 22nd. So, you know, the weekend before is already.
Wonderful.
We have a holiday that Saturday night is a late night. We have an observance at that point. Our holy month actually starts September 20th at night. It's like a midnight service. So so it would be the 13th it would be. So it would be really hard to do anything on the 14th. Just saying.
So it sounds like October 26th work. And Alyssa, that's all I helped with was trying to figure out the date with between like Rabbi Susan and
Oh my gosh, no. I mean, seriously, there is no territorial part of
Just
me on
keeping
that. So that's
I,
no problem.
I did write an email, include everybody. I want to say like goodness, like 2 months ago, and I didn't get a response. But that's the only thing that we worked on. So Dr. Brown, October 26th would be great. I think if we can get the governor's house for that day.
So
That would
that's
be
the date
easy.
because I think I'm gonna request that date again and see if that's available, and that should come back since we're closer to it. I should get an answer really fast. So we do need to have an alternative space. If we can't use the house, I still want to get the principals to whatever event we have. So let's pick an event, and whatever that date is, I'm gonna put that date in as our request for the principal, and then I'll see if I have to do the location or do government house, if that's okay with everybody.
And can you explain to everybody what you told me? Like if we do get the governor's house, what kind of event it should be?
Yes, it's because the governor's house is limited on space, so it will be invite only. It will be 675, I think, a good 75 standing. It will be like all the typical events that have been there, and then the governor will come out and speak. It would be a good program for 2 or 3 hours, and then we get out of there. If we decide to do what we did last year, we throw our own event. We invite the governor or the lieutenant governor to come out and speak, or whatever principal we want to do. So we can go both ways. I think we should have alternative plans for both and see which one hits. But the goal is to get 1 and 2 of the principals there.
I may suggest as a backup, since we have Commissioner Roney as a professor, I believe, at the University of Maryland. So we will have some access, and that will be in Prince George's County, which is second to Montgomery County for most of the Middle Eastern American live. So that's, and again, we don't want, I promise Reverend Walker, we're not going to do more in Howard County, because most of the other commissions do that as well, only in Howard County, and we need to go around. Alyssa, what do you think? I mean, say, University of Maryland, Prince George's will be a backup, and we'll try there through Rowan.
She said UMBC, I thought. Isn't that where she?
University of Maryland, I thought.
Well, it's part of University of Maryland, but I think it's the UMBC campus, right?
Yeah,
Rafi,
she told us that she works at UMBC.
Yeah.
What does that stand for? Sorry.
Yep. That's correct.
University of
It's
Maryland.
University of Maryland, Baltimore
Mhm.
County.
Baltimore County.
So
Yeah.
she's in Baltimore County, not whatever the other county.
That's all right, but she
Yeah.
could hopefully could introduce us,
Oh, yeah.
to other people, and I'm
Yeah.
sure I believe she said she would be able to do that introduction, and then we'll take it over as a working group.
Amal wants us on the East Coast, I think, right?
Amal, if we come in the summer, we're delighted to go to the beach. Rehoboth, maybe. No,
that
not Rehoboth, I'm sorry. Stay in Maryland.
Okay.
So if we do reach out to the University of Maryland, let me know, because fun fact, we know the governor budgets for this, so the conversation from our office to them also could help. So let me know when that conversation happens, or if it happens, and if you need any assistance from the government side of it.
Okay, well, I guess who will take that lead in the working group for event planning?
Okay, can I say something? If you want to do it in the Eastern Shore, I can help you actually. Seriously, at SCU.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can.
Okay.
Based on being pragmatic and based on population and where the most of the Middle Eastern American live, maybe this will be a future one.
Okay, that's what
Thank
be
you.
fun.
All right, so who's taking the lead? Alyssa, Athar? You are the two I know in that group. And I'm sure you have more working group members.
I would
But-
say, I mean, Athar, how about you and I talk offline and we can kind of coordinate those pieces? What do you think?
Yeah, we can work together. For sure.
Yeah.
I'm really busy with the education committee, but I will absolutely be your helper.
No, that's totally fine. And like I
Um,
said, I have to get a couple more things done from my end, which I know I have been out of commission a little bit. So, but yes, we will definitely coordinate offline so we don't have to
Perfect.
hold up everybody in the meeting.
And I just had a question for Dr. Brown. Do you know when we would get an answer about the date? October 26th?
I wish I could. So I'll put it in
Okay.
tomorrow again and check on the one that I requested earlier and see what it is by next week. So I'll probably send an update on Tuesday when we get to our meeting, and then we'll do that. And Alyssa, could you tie me and Cheryl in that conversation? Because Cheryl is amazing, and I put a lot of work on her sometimes. So tie me and Cheryl into that information so we can
No
help.
problem whatsoever. Cheryl's got my number as well. But yes, we will make sure everybody is tied in accordingly. And hopefully we'll hear from the governor's office on the sooner side. But we also know that doesn't always happen super fast. So we just kind of have to play out both sides of this.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. So I guess at this point, since we don't have specific dates or the venue, so we're not going to vote or have a motion to approve. So we'll move on to event planning interface program.
Are we able to vote based on availability, like just to have the general vote on what we're looking to do versus what we're actually doing, or how would that work?
That's an excellent question for Dr. Brown, not
So I would say, since we had discussion on the day, we should vote on making sure that the 26th is locked in and approved, so we can put that in the minutes. The working group, since we don't meet again till July would give us 90 days out-ish, a little more of 90 days out when our second meeting. So the working group can kind of work everything together, plan everything, and then bring it back to the board in July for final approval. So we really don't have to vote on theme and all that stuff yet, but we still should at least put on the record today that we voted on the date, we voted on the 2 alternative plans, and then have the working group work on the specifics, and then we'll do it through email till we get to July.
All right, so can we combine the two into one motion, meaning the date and the, what else you said, and the location?
Yes.
All right. Is there a motion to approve what's just been suggested about the annual event on October 26th, 2025 and tentatively the Governor House as a venue. Is a motion to approve?
I move to approve the October 26th date as the tentative date and the Governor's House as the venue.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Is there more discussion needed at this time? Okay. Let's now vote. Again, we'll raise our hand, and or if you're driving, say aye.
Aye. Rafi.
Thank you. Are we counting Cheryl or Dr. Brown?
Yes, so we got them all.
Okay. Thank you. So this motion has been approved. Thank you. Now I believe we could move to the interface, and then we'll go to Amar unless anyone in other working groups, I'm not sure if they have any update, but
Okay.
let's carry on. Let's go to the interface.
So Dr. Ali will say a few words about some of the projects she's been working on, and then I have a final comments.
Okay, and we have a few minutes here before a few people going to leave. I don't think there's anything.
Amal, maybe can I say my thing first before we lose the people?
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so then I'll feed to you and then you'll do everything together.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
I'm going to take a point of personal privilege, which is in Robert's rules, actually. So to make us, I just want to ask everyone's indulgence due to the implementation of the new executive order. This may be the last meeting that most of us, not even all of us, are online tonight, which is really a shame. And I want to thank everyone here and everyone who isn't even here for the cooperation and the care and the collegiality that you've shown me and each other. And I'm so building on the opening words of our fearless leader, Tharwat, here. In a world that would have made us enemies, we've chosen to be friends and colleagues and have not only put the goals of the commission first, but generally care for each other and have helped each other. And I want to thank the Gochi staff and Cheryl and Dr. Brown and Greg Yancey and Reverend Walker for their help these last 2 years. But I want to really focus on the fact that the tone and cohesion of our group begins at the top. And therefore, I would invite all of us to take a moment to thank Tharwat, our chairman, who's fearlessly and graciously and selflessly and consistently led and guided us and inspired us and advanced and advocated for us and for our commission. And we could not have asked for a better chairperson, a better leader during these complicated times. And whatever happens with the appointments, we don't know what's going on really, obviously, and where any of us are going to be at the next meeting. But whatever happens, I think, Tharwat, please know that we will always be indebted to you for your leadership and for getting us off on the right foot. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very well said.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sarwa. Thank you.
All
and
right.
I'm going to pass it now to Amal, who actually has more of our interfaith report.
Okay, thank you again.
Okay, before I say what we are doing, actually, I was planning to ask you not to resign because I just know about it like 2 days ago. And honestly, I wish you can change your mind.
I'm sorry, Dr. Amal Ali. I'm not resigning. This is a reappointment. So.
Okay.
Okay.
So
well,
you will continue. Wait. So just let me know. You will continue to be the chair of this committee?
No,
or
I cannot
be
say
in
that.
the commission?
No. I cannot. I don't have an answer.
Anyway,
I don't know what
I am
stands.
hoping. Okay, let me just say how I feel, and then I cannot control anything. But I can tell you, I wish you will continue to be the chair. You did excellent job. We all started with like goals to achieve in 4 years, but for many of us, it will be only 2 years. So I hope you will continue. So these goals will be achieved in the second term.
Well,
And as I said, you did excellent job, and I hope you can continue. That's it.
in business, always when I first start, and you know, wherever I took a position, like second week, I always look for one or two potential successors, because you never know. Tomorrow I could be hijacked by some aliens out to the space. So we do have two people I'm recommending very strongly among you guys to continue, and hopefully they will be reappointed, and also one or two of them could lead. So, and I believe they will do better job than me. So please, and I don't know, and I already made my statement earlier. We need to accept change, and you know, that's a fact. I mean, this is not deliberate or against any person in any way. The whole idea is organization needs to change and adapt the new executive order. So that's not only for our commission, by the way, that's all commissions under Reverend Walker. So that's happening everywhere else. And again, our number originally were 21, and we need to be maximum 15 by maybe very soon. So it's not only myself, but a couple of other people that will hopefully will be reappointed and what they're passionate about, and they could give back to the community and to the administration. And I believe that will happen. All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Amal. But I thought we're talking about interface. So
let's talk about interface for whoever will continue. Okay.
Okay.
So mainly, if you remember, I told you before, it's very hard to come suddenly to the people in the Eastern Shore and say, we are the commission, yeah, tell us what you need. So I took different approach, which mainly to build the trust in the commission. So I made a list of Muslim groups or mosques here in Maryland, actually, not only the Eastern Shore. And then each time I find any opportunity, I send it to them as a commissioner, because many people here know me as a professor, but when I send it as a commissioner, it becomes like the commission is helping them. So I started to send these like any resources available. I started also to hope that they can reply, and some people reply, for example, to say, yeah, we will apply for this grant. Like, for example, I shared with them the state security grant information to protect against hate crimes. So one of the groups replied and said, yeah, we will submit the application. And I believe there are two others also will do. Also, there was another nonprofit organization donating free trees. So I also emailed them so they can also get these free trees, because it's really good for environmental purposes. So my hope is they will know now what the commission can do for them, because that was the initial question some months ago. And also I'm hoping they will have the courage to come to the commission to ask for help. So mainly what I have been doing in the past months is to build this trust and encourage them to come and talk to us. And I think I'm making progress. So that's it. So regardless what will happen with the membership with the committee, I hope you can share with me like whatever the resources, because I'm still part of the communities here, and I really want them to benefit from any available resources or any help they can get. Thank you.
I would definitely keep you on the email list, and everybody's still on the email list. You're a commissioner, and you don't lose the title because you change or you late. Even if it was a 4-year term, you're still a commissioner. So we make sure you still get the information, because you're doing great work inside your community. So I'll make sure that we stay on the email list.
Great, thank you very much.
Excuse me, if once a commissioner, always a commissioner, it's like being the president?
Once a commissioner, always a commissioner.
Wow, okay.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Thank you for the update. Anything else in interface before we move to quickly to see if partnerships
Right. The big project that we're engaged with, you heard from Aisha, is that our goal is to create a pilot in the school system in Howard County that could be replicated in other counties. So, this is only a pilot because we have a critical mass here that is a little bit aware that this is that this kind of community conversations are possible. And so if we could do it in Howard County, we could maybe then take it maybe to Montgomery, which is the next most likely county, and then, move it to other school systems where there are tensions between different ethnic and racial and religious populations. It's transferable to all sorts of things.
All right. Thank you very much. I believe few people need to leave at 7, already 5 minutes after 7. But let me ask if partnerships and focus groups, working group, Rafi, you there, and is Bajar is there, Commissioner Bajar? No?
Rafi's gone.
Okay.
And Rod
Bajar.
didn't come on. He wasn't on at all.
Okay. So we move to strategic planning. Mona is not on, right? Anybody in place of Mona? No. Strategic communication. Tony is not here. All right. So now we move to the open discussion, and we'll start it with Amar, then we'll go to Dr. Brown, and then we'll end.
Okay.
Amar, the Commissioner Amar.
Thank you. Does Athar want to say something?
Athar had her hand up.
Oh, okay. Athar?
Oh, okay.
I recognize you, Athar. Commissioner Athar.
She left, it seems. Oh no,
Oh
she's
no,
still...
no, sorry, I was muted, but I don't need to go first. I just whenever is fine. Can I go now? It's fine.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank Dr. Brown for facilitating the meeting with the Governor's Office of Crime and Prevention to let us know about that funding that was available for nonprofits and religious organizations. And hopefully we shared that with a lot of different organizations. So hopefully somebody can take advantage of that. But thank you so much, Dr. Brown. I really appreciated that.
No, absolutely. And I know Allah, you had mentioned something earlier. Just could you meet up with me sometime before the 21st? I'm going out of town for a few days. I do have some research about all the Middle Easterners across the state.
Okay,
so
great.
Catch up with me before the 21st. But Athar, you're welcome. And commissioners, while you're out in community and you think of something, just reach out to me. Let me see what state organization. We'll set up a meeting so we can talk to them, just like we did this grant. It's just, if I don't know what you need, I can't look for the state agency to help us find what we need. So just let me know. And then Rabbi Grossman, with the Howard County pilot, I think it might be some help somewhere. So let's talk about that probably next week or the week after. But we need to talk about that. I think it's a state agency that might can help. And then we can promote it and get them a little assistance too with that pilot.
Oh, that would be great. Actually, we're moving pretty quickly. So yeah, I'd like to speak early next week. So if you can let me know when you're available, I can figure out when I'm available. That'd be great.
I'll send you an email on Monday
Okay,
tomorrow
fabulous.
for Monday. Monday be my best day.
Okay, fabulous.
All right. Commissioner Amar, welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's been a couple of weeks since actually my return, and the trip to Syria was longer than I thought. I was planning to spend about 20 days. I ended up spending 50, and it was my first time in 20 years that I've managed to go back to Syria. I was barred from leaving or from going to the country after my exile in 2005. So it was the first time I also got to see my mom in Syria. I saw her a couple of times outside Syria, but it was my first time seeing her in Syria since 2005. So it was a very personal trip, but at the same time for me it was a business trip. I was trying to evaluate the situation for the organization and also for the State Department here. So I looked at two things. I looked at what's happening at sort of the top level and at what's happening also in terms of the people on the street and the average citizen. At the top level, it's very clear that, and it shouldn't be surprising, that we do have an Islamist government. I mean, yes, they are pragmatic, they're trying to change, and they are sincere about it in some cases, but they remain sort of governed by an ethos that's still Islamist. And what I mean by Islamist, I don't mean Islamic, conservative, or whatever. This is something different. This is something acceptable very much. As a legitimate choice and lifestyle. Islamism, on the other hand, is problematic because it's a political ideology that tries to impose a certain form of governance irrespective of what the governed want. And that poses a problem for people who believe in democracy. It poses a problem for minority groups. And Syria is replete with minority groups. It's not just the major groups, Christians and Alawites and Druze and Kurds, but we also have smaller groups like the Ismailites, Sufis, and we also have a lot of secular elements among the Sunni Arab community itself. So that does pose a challenge. However, I don't want to be sort of like very grim because at the same time I saw and I had meeting with a lot of officials inside the HTS. The HTS is the group that's leading the government, and it's designated as a terrorist organization by the United States, by the UN, and by a lot of countries across the world. But it is leading the governance right now. There was still a lot of pragmatism. I mean, we could talk freely about anything. I haven't really lived a single day in Syria where the conversation was as free as it was under the rule of HTS. Everybody was talking about everything. They criticized the current leader in very strong terms. No one interferes. So in a sense, that's promising, but it is also a sign of a lack of control at that stage. It's a country in transition. It's only been 6 months since the fall of the Assad regime. There are a variety of reasons to be concerned. Like, for instance, the idea that every ministry and every state institutions at the middle level have a lot of people from HTS basically involved in the decision making. So in a sense, the president doesn't necessarily care who's the minister. They communicate with their own people in the ministry. So there is always so the deep state basically is being built. There is an ongoing jihadi indoctrination in the army and the police force, which is problematic to say the least. There are also foreign fighters. There have been several incidents since my arrival, very serious incidents, massacres along the coast against the Alawite, but they were quickly contained. And then there were clashes between Druze and Sunni militias as I was leaving, and also they were quickly contained. But they do raise questions. Israel have been striking since day one. There were, I think, 750 airstrikes against targeted military positions with minimal civilian death. But I think there are about, in all of these strikes, about 10 civilian deaths. But they were sending a message, destroying and depleting the military capabilities of HTS, and sending a message to Turkey as well that they cannot give them cover all the time. So there is that situation going on. There are areas in the north eastern part of the country that are under Kurdish control, and even though the leaders of these areas have reached an agreement, tentative agreement with the current central government, with the HTS-led government, it still hasn't been implemented. We still have a few more months before it gets implemented, and there are a lot of problems to be addressed and resolved. Now, Israel has tried to convince the Druze community that lives in the south to declare partition, or at least autonomy, and they've been very clear about it. I mean, they've made public statements and they promised to protect and so on. But the Druze community is divided. There are people who would consider it, and for genuine reasons, they are afraid for their own survival. And there are people who nonetheless believe that they should give a chance to the HTS-led government, and that they believe in the moderation of their rhetoric, and that something could be worked out in due course. So there is a division. Almost every community in Syria is divided right now, along whether they like HTS, whether they want something else, whether it is possible to create an alternative. So there is all of these reasons that makes us concerned. On the other hand, there are reasons for optimism. One, that let me start with what President Trump just did. The relieving of sanctions was very important because really the people who were being hurt at that time was the average citizen. Every $100 makes a million Syrian pounds, and a million Syrian pounds is not enough for a person to live for a month. The average salary is 500 Syrian pounds, so $50. And so we have major issues in terms of income. We don't have cash flow. We have to print the money, Syrian currency in Moscow, and which is of course send it to us dependent on their whims because they're afraid of losing their military influence. They're almost out of the country and being kicked out. So they are trying to use that leverage to move back in. Of course, the new government is talking about a new currency that will be coming soon. There are starvation condition in certain parts of the country, and this is a country rich in agriculture. So everything is almost available in the markets, but people cannot buy it. There was that situation, and with President Trump's basically announcement that sanctions will be removed or lifted completely, unless there are some pushback. There's some pushback now here in some among his people because the security team for National Security Advisory Team for the President Trump is divided on the issue. But still, if the president is sincere, and I think he is, and I think the Saudi and the Qatari and the Turkish government have really insisted on that, and there is a new kind of security architecture emerging in the region. For a long time, from President Clinton to President Bush first and the second, and Obama and Biden, the region was being pushed and encouraged to create its own security structure. Well, it's emerging. The Abraham Accord is part of it, whether people like it or not. The other element is now seems to be that Syria and its current leadership is acceptable to the main architects of that system, except Israel. And UAE is reluctant a little bit. Egypt also not very happy about the situation. Libya divided. Algeria not happy. But the Iraqis not happy. Iranians not happy. But the Qatari, the Saudi, the Turks, and the UAE are willing to be on board. Especially the first three. UAE, as I said, they had their own issues with that. But that means it's a new regional architecture. If the sanctions are completely lifted, that's going to give us that new architecture a push in the desired direction, whether, again, regardless whether people approve or not. But this is what's emerging right now in the country. A new Middle East is being built, and I don't think that Syria would be divided. What I've noticed is, despite all of these fractures, a sense of Syrian identity has been emerging. And under the sectarianism and the regionalism and the ethnicity of everyone, a sense of Syria should stay the same. There is a strong support for that. It may not be 100%, but I think it's more than a majority. More than a simple majority. So it's, I think the country will survive. But there are challenges when it comes to the governance. I do not anticipate the emergence of a strong authoritarian regime, but I do not also expect democracy or liberal democracy to flourish at this stage. And this transitional period that's going to last for about 5 years is going to be extremely fraught with dangers and perils, but at the same time, opportunities as well. So it depends really on how the diplomatic pressures that are emerging and sort of playing a role in trying to push the transition in a more amiable direction, more representative, more participatory, more fair. If they succeed, and if the efforts of the pro-democracy activists, people like me and others, if we succeed in having our way, we can salvage something that's at least much better than what we had under Assad. And albeit I would imagine that our high end of a liberal democracy is still a generational struggle. We can achieve something nonetheless. So I am guardedly optimistic despite as I said, how I described certain concerning elements. But I think when you look at President Trump's statements on Syria, especially the recent ones, you're saying we're giving them a head start, we're giving them a chance to build something, but there is a wait and see. We're going to see what they're going to do with it. So in a sense, sanctions could be snapped back. There could still be problems if progress is not made along certain key issues, and these issues about foreign fighters and radicals who are in Syria. They need to be contained, not necessarily all deported, but if they are disarmed and not put in positions of governance, then that suffices, I think, for Americans. There need to be security cooperation in the fight against ISIS, and there is a huge camp of prisoners called Al-Hol that needs to be sort of safeguarded. And there is also the issue of participation and inclusion of minorities and the protection of minorities. If these things are met, these criteria are met, I think then the sanctions would stay lifted, at least for the duration of the President Trump's term in office. But if there is any problem, then I would imagine that they could be snapped back. Now, is Israel happy with this? This is an important question to ask because they will strike if they're not happy. And they seem to reluctantly accept President Trump's proposal for now. But it remains to be seen. They too are adopting a wait-and-see attitude. Syria has no way of fighting back against Israel in any way and capacity. I mean, they can do whatever they want if they came. Even the idea of any kind of resistance is even what Hamas did in Gaza will not be possible in Damascus, because one, Israel may not adopt the invasion tactic completely, and two, because the airstrikes will be terrible, and already we're dealing with a devastated army, devastated economy, and a devastated country. So there are a lot, therefore, of variables that are very difficult to predict right now. But for the most part, if the current leader abide by certain conditionality with the Americans, and he seems to be willing to do so, if he knew how to manage the different interests of his backers, because they are not all harmonious necessarily. And if he manages to, and this is something I'm sort of writing an article about that should be published soon, if he manages the relations with Israel correctly, there are already talks, by the way. I mean, part of the thing that I was in fact involved in was to carry out messages. And there were already talks I discovered with other sources. So if that was managed correctly, we can stave off a showdown. We can reach some kind of a modus operandi that can satisfy both sides. So, as I said, there are reasons to be guardedly optimistic about this situation, despite the fact that there are also reasons to be concerned. But I do not anticipate, I've never really anticipated, even as I supported the revolution from the very beginning and was very actively involved in promoting that kind of a change inside Syria, I never really expected liberal democracy to flourish because we do not have the constituency for it. I expected a change. I wanted a chance. This is the chance, at best as we can have it, to create something better than what we had and to push us one step, important step in the right direction. That is still possible. We can still salvage something out of this 14 years bloody conflict. And
that's
we have
good.
5
I
years
mean,
ahead
at
of us of work.
At
That's it.
least you are optimistic, so that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So we'll have to
Thank
wait.
you. Thank you very much for listening and for giving me the chance to update you. I know we're talking about something that's outside the concerns, direct concerns of the Commission, but I nonetheless sometimes foreign affairs do have a domestic component. We have a lot of Syrians. If things went downhill, we need to find a lot of somehow find a place for Syrian refugees here.
Right.
I hope that's not going to be the case.
Well, thank you again and welcome back. And I appreciate your report and all your information you just shared. Thank you. Now we need to have some time now for Dr. Brown to update us on the commission's changes, I believe. And are you ready, Dr. Brown?
I am. So Amar, I appreciate the sharing. I sit on a international call every 2 weeks. So hearing that gives me something to go back and discuss. So I'll be reaching out to you soon because next week is our international call. So thank you for that. Reverend Walker sends his apologies. He had a conflict that he forgot about. He thought he was going to be able to jump on, then he was like, I can't, I'm still here. So he sends his regret that he couldn't be here with us tonight, but he wanted me to give the update on the appointments. Most of the commissioners have left, but if you'll start seeing this week or next week letters in the mail, the hope is the appointments office would get everything out by June 1st. That's what was told to Larry. Larry said to say that. So June 1st, everybody will have their letter. Everything will be back up and running. We'll know who the 15 is. And I want to take a point of privilege to say, Thawat, thank you. Thank you for your training, because you've given me a lot of training over the last 2 years. Your commitment to making sure we are up to par and on standard at all times. So I appreciate you for all the heavy lifting that you did. You're not done yet because you're still a commissioner and I still need you to go forward. So I will be reaching out to you over these next few weeks.
Anytime.
And I know this was a hard decision. When they asked me, could they take a star and put him somewhere else because his expertise is needed, it was a little fight, but I lost. So I'll just leave it there. But
right.
We
Thank
know
you.
that you'll be in the commission, in the administration, and doing things that you do as being who you are. So I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. This is very mutual, and I really appreciate working with you. And this relationship will continue. I hope, so wherever we are, but all of us have the same goal, is to support the administration, the Moore-Miller administration. And we're going in a couple of years. I mean, very soon, actually, we'll start the campaign for re-election of Governor Moore and Aruna Miller. So thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
So that will happen. One more thing. That will happen. Larry's on the 250 commission, the national board or the state board. So he's really saying, hey, don't forget the 250 like we talked about earlier. And that was with the two updates that I had for you.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. All right, we'll continue open discussion last few minutes here. We could end earlier as well. But open discussion now, or if you have announcements, if you have anything you want, ask. We'll try to answer it. If we don't have answer, we'll get back to you. So now it's your time before we adjourn our meeting.
Mr. Chair, was Rabbi Grossman, Commissioner Wafa, and then Dr. Ali.
Okay. I recognize
Yeah, I just wanted to know, our next meeting is not till July. So is there going to be, and between now and July, there's going to be massive changes. So I wanted to, we don't know who's going to be on the commission, who's going to lead the commission, how the commission is going to be structured. Those of us who are working on projects, are we still in charge of the projects that we've been shepherding? So what communication can we expect between now and July so that we're kept in as real time as possible knowledge about what's going on?
Sure. In Larry's words, the plane is just on a holdover. We still as we know, we still moving forward for what we had. So right now we're just waiting for all the shuffles to her to see who's going to take this flight and move forward. So me or Cheryl will be as soon as we find out what's going on, because what we don't know is when everybody's going to get their letters, because they are coming from the appointments office. The appointments office will let us know when all those letters will be issued, and then we'll send out communication. Because once they do that, then I think Larry has the final list on everybody. So once he says, "Hey, Antoine, it's okay to go ahead and restructure and say what the final list is," I'll put it out immediately.
So we're going to know, we're not dependent on the snail mail. We're going to hear from you once there's a decision that you know that
Yes.
is going to be made, so that those of us who are working real time in our communities can be able to pivot as quickly as possible if we need to.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Any other comments or questions?
Alo is next.
Okay.
You're on mute, Ella.
Sorry, yeah. Dr. Brown, did you say letters are going out as early as next week, or they're all going out next week?
They started last week, so they're going out now. So it's not just our commission, it's, it's the whole ethic commission. So letters of starts pushing out now. So
Okay.
I think they said they should be done by June 1st.
Wait, so, okay, now I'm confused. So,
Yeah.
so they're doing a rolling communication rather than having all the decisions made at the same time by a certain date and then communicating? Is that what you just said?
I'm not sure if they're doing a rolling. They just told us that they started pushing out the letters, and I don't know how they're doing it because I'm not involved in that. I don't think Larry's involved, but all I know is they said they should have all the letters to all the commissions by June 1st. But we do know that some people started receiving letters last week.
So this is exactly what I'm worried about. So it sounds like there is a disconnect between communication from decision making to communication. There's a gap, and those of us who are working in the communities with time sensitive programming, yes, we're on a plane and we keep going, and theoretically we have a title that lives for as long as we live. We should all live and be well. So, but
Yeah, but your work won't stop if you continue up, because like I said, I'm still here and I'm still in place. So if you're doing work that you need time sensitive stuff here, you still get any work in the community that you need. You still have our support and access to that. So it won't affect any. If you're a commissioner today or tomorrow and you need us, we're here to help because you're always a commissioner. You're still a commissioner to us. So right now, while we in this executive order limbo, anything that you do in community, you have access to this office.
And the letters go out by June 1st at the latest, and then like when are things effective?
Probably June 1st. So whenever you get your letter, by the time we get to the next meeting, I should be sending out correspondence saying, "Hey, this is the new board, this is the new commission. Here's who the appointments office picked as chair." All that stuff will start happening once they give me official word that all letters have went out.
I don't, okay, we're talking anyway on Monday, right? You'll explain more to me because four of us have to go into a meeting with the head of the school systems, and we just like to know how to introduce ourselves. Okay.
You introduce yourself as a commissioner because you're still a commissioner. And if you need me to go in there with you, I will.
I don't need you to go there with me. What I don't want to go in there is tell them I'm a commissioner one day and then not be a commissioner the next, but I'm going to let them all go next.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else before we adjourn our meeting?
My question is really related to what Ala and Rabbi Susan said. So in my case, when I send them email to make them know this is coming from the commission to help them, I put my signature as a commissioner and the name of the commission. Now, can I continue with that, or that will be fraud, or what should I do? Because if I send the email like this is resources are available with the SU, that means a professor at SU is helping them. But in previous months, I sent it with my signature as a commissioner. So can I write the name of the commission in my email, or just
yeah.
say governor, commissioners, and that's it? Seriously, what should I do?
Keep sending your signature as a commission. If you have
But
any
don't
issues,
mention the name of the commission. Am I right?
you can still, yes, you still a commissioner. And then if you have any issue with it, just give me a call. You're still a commissioner.
Okay.
I think what he's saying is you were always gonna have the title commission. We can have commissioner, but then, and you can have the name of the commission. After June 1st, we'll find out if we're still part of the same commission or if it can just say commissioner.
It's sort of like being an
Okay, thank
ambassador,
you.
right? It's like being an ambassador, like Ambassador Frank is always an ambassador, but he's not assigned to
Yeah.
wherever he was assigned to. So, okay,
Okay.
But
And I
we
think,
don't-
very
but-
much.
we don't
Dr. Brown-
represent the state when we're no longer appointed. You know, a former ambassador, and I wish Frank was here because he could explain this to us, and maybe Amar knows better, but or maybe Thorwald, but a former ambassador is not authorized. He receives the honorific, and a past president, right, or a past governor, they receive the honorific of keeping their title. However, they can't speak on behalf of the governor or of the commission to which they had formerly been appointed.
That's correct. But here we're making an assumption that we will be gone. That's not, if Larry was here in the call, will say the people who we're going to retain 15. And from the 15, they're going to appoint a chair and possibly vice chair. I don't know, that's a separate decision. But the other 4 or 3 or 5 going to be reappointed to some other commissions and or boards. The state has, as of today, over 600 boards and commissions. And Reverend Walker have spoken to several of this team, several members of this team, to find out what are the passion and skills and what else they want to do. That's including myself. So, and that's what's going to happen. But meanwhile, it is a status quo, business as usual.
Yeah.
And so let's not anticipate that, you know, we're not going to be here. And I need to just, and also the probability, you know, when you're talking about maybe top 5 out of 21, so you have very high probability going to stay.
I think Dr. Brown, like just the sense that I've gotten, and maybe it's just my personal perspective, but there is angst, right? Just, and it's more like just lack of clarity. And I know that in the corporate setting, when there are reorganizations, the communication is really tight in terms of the window, because the longer the stretch, the more confusion there is.
Correct.
And so in the future, if the governor's office does something like this, I think one way to reduce the confusion is to just, you know, you said the letters went out last week, the announcement came out, you know, we were told like 2 months ago that there's an executive order. And of course, I understand that like announcement has to go out with the executive order, but you know, to the extent they could have tightened it and quickly after the executive order, within 30 days, you know, identified, communicated, and executed, sort of like they do in the private setting and corporations, you're gonna have, you know, a better plan and like tight talking points to say, these are reappointments, we want you to know and reassure you that nobody's getting fired, right? It's just that there may be an opportunity to move you into an area where you have, we can utilize your skill set in a different way, you know, like things like that, I think could have helped with the implementation. I know that hindsight's 2020, but I just wanted to share some experience as a labor and employment attorney on the private side and seeing this often, you know, maybe the government office could benefit.
I just been trying not to say a lot on this meeting, but those things happen. And I'll just say we had a change of guard in between it. We got a new secretary's appointment. So it was, yes, it was just in the middle somewhere, just because of one secretary appointment was going out, one was coming in, and then things needed to catch up. So
Yeah.
all those things happened.
Well,
It was just that.
One other thing then, I think just again, to the extent this can go up to the higher ups, you know, just sharing, okay, there was a change of guard, things had got messy perhaps. Just even acknowledging that with the commissioners and the commission saying, look, we understand this has not been as smooth as we had liked. We appreciate your patience. We're sorry for any confusion that's been happening. But even just acknowledging that versus giving us the impression that this is like normal and this is how you planned it, I think could go a long way with folks. So just again, please take it as a grain of salt, but just some feedback that I think could help the Maryland office. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And that was the hope today. And that's why I have invited through Dr. Brown, our executive director, to be here. Exactly that. I mean, and I know he was committed, and he mentioned that to me when I had a call with Reverend Walker and Dr. Brown, and I believe our chief of staff, Yancy. And we talked about that, and he was committed to call a lot of people, don't forget, he has a lot of commissions and multiply that with commissioners.
Yeah.
A lot of people to be called. And I know he made calls and reached out to some members of our commission. And the intention was for him to come today and also explain the letter was sent by him, which created some of confusion. And he was supposed to be here today to explain that. But unfortunately, he was not able to make it. And Dr. Brown stepped in and trying his best. And again, don't forget the hierarchy, and also knowledge comes with it. So unfortunately, he's not here to answer our questions, but we always could reach out to him through Dr. Brown via email, or that's basically it. You could send an email. It would be okay with that, Dr. Brown, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we'll try to find an answer. And yes, some could have been ideal if Reverend Walker was with us in the call. All right, but I appreciate all the comments and feedback, and what you said, Commissioner Ala, is very true about the private sector versus, I believe, government sector. So the still, we acknowledge all of that, all the feedback, and it's important to share. So thank you.
So I have one more question. I have a request.
Please.
So for the people that are leaving, we don't know everyone who's going to leave this commission. And because of the relationships that we created, we might not have, besides the emails, we might not have ongoing relations with them. But I think it behooves us to at least be the rest of the commission, whoever stays,
right.
Dr. Brown, whoever stays as a commission, it would be really, it would be nice. It would be really nice if we could be informed about who went elsewhere and where did they go, because now this builds networks for our commission, because we have now commissioners that we have relationships with in other commissions, and also so that we can stay in touch and be able to say, hi, I miss you, or whatever it is, or thank you for working with me on this commission. I look forward to working with you on that commission. So will there be an opportunity? Will you be able to communicate that information once all the things settle down?
Yes, I know one half. I definitely can get you contact information. The request about where they go, I'll just have to reach out to Larry to see if that's something we can ask where they went. Or I'll reach
it'll be
out to
public. It's public knowledge because it'll be posted, but so it's not a secret. You post all of the commissions and who's on.
I'm just trying to see if I can get it before any press release and all that stuff going on. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, I'm just making sure I get it, see if I can get it a little earlier, because they should know if they're going somewhere. So I'll just see if I can get it to compile where they are and their contact information.
Great, thank you.
You're
welcome. Amal has her hand up.
Okay, I just want to say something related to what Rabbi Susan said people, I really enjoyed working with all of you, and I hope we will continue to communicate and to serve our communities. And I hope you will include me in whatever the list you are doing, but I'm not in WhatsApp. So make sure when you do it, don't do WhatsApp. Do something else, or at least let me know so I will figure out how to do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Before I adjourn the meeting, I just want to say, as we push ahead, remember that you cannot turn back the clock, but you can wind it up again, and that's very important. But you can wind it up again. Thank you. Now, may I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
We don't have a quorum.
We should still
I
close it.
present a motion to adjourn the meeting nonetheless, just to abide by the formalities.
Yes.
Okay.
Second, fine.
So do I have a motion to approve?
Yes.
Do I have a second? Is there a second?
You have it from Amar was the motion, and I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. So we'll end it at that, or we need to vote, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
But well,
Vote
it's
very
court.
quickly.
Say again? We
And
don't
here
need
it
to
is, the
vote, we
vote.
just ended.
Yep.
Okay.
You need to vote. Yeah.
Okay, we need to vote.
We don't have a call.
It
Yeah.
is. Okay.
So raise your hand and I'll say aye if you're driving.
Okay.
Ayes have it, Mr. Chair.
So all set? Okay, do you have any nays? No? So it seems the majority or all who have on the call have approved this motion, resulting in the motion has been approved. Okay, so it's done. Thank you. Thank you very much. And
Yes,
we'll stay in touch, all of
Stay in
us.
touch,
and
Tarot.
Thank you,
we look
Sarwat.
forward-
Yes,
Thank you,
Bye.
Thurwood.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye,
Thank you.
Amar.
God bless you
Bye.
all. Stay safe, everyone. It's
Bye.
been an honor and a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.